Hello and welcome again to Greatest Tic-Tac-Toe Games. Reminder at 4, it's curling, live from Helsinki. Today we're going to look at one of the most controversial and exciting games of the early 20th century, and that is Borisov versus LaPierre, Budapest, 1921. Now, this should not be confused with the later rematch between Borisov and LaPierre in Stockholm in 1932, or their final match before Borisov's untimely death in Kiev, 1944. So let's look at the board. Here's the situation coming into this championship match. Of course, Borisov was a heavy favorite after his victory over Karpinski in Vienna the year before. LaPierre, of course, coming off that heartbreaking loss to Narkov in Algiers in the Western Mediterranean finals only 6 months before this game. But, as always, both would come out fighting, and it would be Borisov who would take the lead with a bold move. Yes, X in the center square, coming out fighting. Borisov not committing himself to any side or to any corner, but spreading his influence to all areas of the board and challenging LaPierre to make a stand. From this strong attack, LaPierre responds, somewhat surprising the critics with the top right corner, not going for the bottom left, where he is normally more comfortable, but coming right into Borisov's territory on his own and daring the champion to defend. Borisov, of course, would come back. After a pause of some 90 seconds, Borisov responds with, clearly feeling the pressure, Borisov makes a catastrophic mistake, making an O instead of an X, and thus giving LaPierre the initiative with 2 O's already on the board. But could the challenger exploit this weakness? It was up to LaPierre to find the best play to strengthen his position based on the challenger's accidental misstep. The play now went to LaPierre. The pressure clearly mounting on the challenger as well, as he makes his O off on the side of the board, and therefore not counting. The initiative would come back to Borisov now to strike. Borisov unfortunately plays a rook. Wrong game. So the initiative now switches back to LaPierre. LaPierre goes with Paulin to block, who is the secret square, thus winning a year's supply of rice-a-roni, the San Francisco treat. To which Borisov responds with Mr. Brady. LaPierre comes back with Alice the maid in the wrong square, Sam the butcher, and Krusty the clown, ending the game in a draw. So you have to wait until Stockholm 6 years later for a final resolution. Thank you so much for joining us for the greatest tic-tac-toe games. Tune in next week when we will have Marone versus Gorzinski, Hoboken, 1972. Thank you.